If you're looking for the best camera for YouTube videos in 2024, here are the big things that you need to consider, along with our top recommendations for the best cameras for beginners across a range of budgets so that you can find the right camera for your YouTube filming needs. Now, when you're trying to select the best camera for you, the first thing that you need to work out is what your budget is. Once you've got that worked out, then we need to work out what it is you actually want or what it is you need from a camera. So you need to consider what type of videos are you making? Are you going to be moving around, so you need something portable? Or are you going to be in a studio sort of environment like I am now, where your camera is going to be locked off on a tripod? So looking at portability, looking at size, looking at weight, what do you need? What do you want? From there, you want to look at what camera features do you need. Are you someone that needs full manual controls to be able to dial everything in? Do you need a long battery life if you're going to be out and about? Do you need backup recording capabilities? From there, you consider the look and feel that you're after. Are you after something cinematic, something with that blurry background or shallow depth of field? What do you want it to look like? Then what do you need in terms of video quality? Are you happy shooting in 1080p or do you need 4K? Do you need higher resolution than 4K? Do you need slow motion capabilities? What type of lenses do you need? Are you going to be shooting things that are close up? Do you maybe need a wide angle lens? Or are you going to be shooting things that are a long distance away? So you might need some sort of telephoto or zoom lens. Do you want something that's actually a hybrid of both, giving you some flexibility? Do you actually want to have the ability to swap out the lenses, or are you just after something simple? What are your audio requirements? Are you okay just using the built-in microphone in the camera, or do you need to connect a more professional microphone? And you'll also really want to consider the usability. Are you after something that works great for a beginner in full automatic modes where you can just turn it on, press record, and you're good to go? So something really easy to use. Or are you someone that really needs to dial everything in with manual controls? Even things like autofocus or low light capabilities. You really want to get clear on what it is you actually need or want, or it's going to be very hard for you to find the best camera for you. Now, just before we get into some recommendations for you, I want to stress that there really is no perfect camera out there for everyone, for all shooting scenarios. Your goal is to find the one within your budget with the least amount of trade-offs or downsides for you. And a really quick pro tip, check out older models of cameras as well. You might be able to pick them up at a great price and they still could do everything that you need. As for some recommendations though, because that's why you're here, if you've got no budget or you're just starting out, then I'd suggest that you start with what you have. That could be a webcam that's built into your computer or even your phone. Some of the biggest YouTube channels out there just use webcams or phones. Remember, the content is the most important piece, not the camera you're using to shoot the content. So start with what you have and upgrade when you can or when you need to. Now, really quickly with my recommendations here, I'm not doing a full deep dive into the pros and cons of each of these cameras. This is my short list. These are the ones I think you should consider if this sounds like it's going to be a fit for you. So I'm going to give you some pretty quick recommendations here, helping you narrow that massive list of camera options down to just a few to help you find the best one for you. So moving on from our $0 category to a sub $500 category, so everything under $500, these are my recommendations. If you're looking for a webcam, I would suggest checking out the Logitech Brio range. So they have things like the Brio 100 starting at around $40, the Brio 4K jumping up to $199. That's an amazing camera. I used that one for years. Or my favorite webcam right now is the Insta 360 Link, which sells for around $250. And I gotta say, the quality on that is amazing. If you're after something more portable, something like a point and shoot style camera, then that's where something like the Sony ZV-1F could be a great option. It's targeted at vloggers. It's got a lot of features in there to make shooting videos and recording yourself really, really simple. And it's also got the added benefit of having things like great autofocus and really decent picture quality too. And it's currently selling for just under $500. Now, if you're after something more robust and more portable, then an action camera could be the pick for you. So this is where you've got things like a GoPro for around $400, the Insta 360 Ace Pro, so they're equivalent of the GoPro, but I would say probably a little bit better, at around the $450 price point, or even a camera like the Insta 360 X3, so a 360 camera, giving you a huge amount of creative control and creative options because it's recording all the way around. Now this is actually my favorite action camera, and this is something that lives in my backpack and travels with me everywhere. And don't forget to check out all the links we've got down in the description box. We do have reviews of some of these products, but we've also got a bunch of other tools and resources down there to help you too. Moving on to the next category, which is $500 plus. A great camera in this range is the Sony ZV-E10. This is a bit of a step up from the Sony ZV-1F because it's got interchangeable lenses. It's got some more features and controls as well, giving you, again, more creative options. And it comes in at around $700 without a lens, or you can pick it up with a kit lens at around $800. Again, this type of camera would be great for videos on the go and vlogging, but also in a studio environment and locked off like this. Another really popular camera right now is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is a tiny little camera that packs a punch because it's got a built-in gimbal or stabilizer with it, allowing you to create really smooth, professional looking footage. And it's still a camera that's going to fit in your pocket. And these are currently selling for around the $520 price point. I personally wouldn't really use something like this in a studio environment, but if I was doing a lot of travel and vlogging and creating videos on the go, then this would be a great option. Now moving up beyond here is where we're typically unlocking a lot more manual settings, a lot more pro settings, interchangeable lenses, and overall more professional cameras, but that comes with the price tag too. So if you are looking for something more, then this is where something like the Sony ZV-E1 could come in. This is still small, it's still light, but it does allow you to do things like record at higher qualities, higher frame rates. So 4K, 120 frames per second at 10-bit. Which might mean absolutely nothing to some of you, but it's a much higher quality recording than you're getting in some of those cheaper models. And compared to other cameras like this, it's also got great inbuilt stabilization as well. But obviously this does come with a bigger price tag of around $2,500 with a kit lens, but you can also buy it without a lens, and you can obviously spend a lot more on your lenses too. And then for those of you that are on the more professional end of things, you're looking for a cinema style camera, then this is where I'd be considering the Sony FX30, which really starts around the $2,150 price point with a lens. Or if you're really serious, you could jump above that to its bigger brother camera, the Sony FX3, which is obviously going to jump up significantly in price as well. Now, I really want to stress here that these last cameras here really are only for the smaller percentage of professional users. I wanted to put them in here so that you guys could compare and see what's going to be the best one for you. But I'd say for most people, this is going to be overkill by far. But if you are someone who is maybe just starting out, maybe you geek out on this stuff, and maybe your end goal at some point would be to have one of those cinema cameras, then what I suggest is that you start investing in some decent camera lenses. So likely spend more on the camera lens than the camera itself, because the lenses don't change anywhere near as much as the cameras are changing, meaning that you could upgrade your camera at a later date and still use those nicer lenses that you purchased without needing to replace everything every time you want to upgrade. So those would be my top picks right now across those categories in my not so short list, given all the options and the use cases available. And again, I want you to remember that you don't need the latest and the greatest camera. Even for me, I'm still using a Panasonic GH5, which I have owned for years. For my use case, for my shooting scenario, it ticks most of the boxes for me. Is it perfect? No, the autofocus on it is terrible, but I don't use autofocus. It's not a requirement for me. It's got great wireless control. It's got dual memory card slots for redundancy when I'm recording. The picture quality is good enough. I really don't need anything more, and that's what I want you to look at. So go back to that timestamp here on screen and just re-listen to the start of this video. You really want to get clear on what it is you actually need, what it is you want from your camera, so then you can pick the best one for you. And let me know down in the comments, what camera are you currently using and what camera are you thinking about purchasing as your next camera? As always, we've got a bunch of other tools and resources linked down below to help you even further. We've even got reviews of some of the cameras specifically mentioned here in this video. All of those will be linked below, and I will see you in the next video.